Hey everybody, the Super Vader 400 here, back for another review, and this time this is my review of TMNT Out of the Shadows, the sequel to the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. I saw this film 2 weeks ago at the Stonecrest Theater with my dad. Here's the ticket as proof I saw it. I saw this film June 11th, 2016, Saturday at 5:30 p.m. at the Stonecrest Theater here in Georgia, and and as expected, this film right here was awesome. Actually, it was better than awesome. Words cannot describe how awesome this film was, and this film, along with Batman v Superman, Captain America, Civil War, and X-Men Apocalypse, are four of my favorite films. Are already four of my favorite films of this year, and TMNT, TMNT, and Captain America: Civil War are, in my opinion, already the best films of this year. Are already the best films of this year. Both of these films totally exceeded my expectations. I've been looking forward to this film since I saw the last one. But before I get to that, what I like about this film is that, first off, not only did they take everything that was wrong with the first film and improve it in this film, they also took everything that was good about the first film and made it even better in this film. And secondly, I like how they made this film even more for the fans, for the fans. This film was even closer to the source material, particularly the 80s, the 80s TMNT cartoon, and of course the 2012 TMNT cartoon with a couple of elements from the 2003 cartoon. This was much closer to the source material. Actually, in the ending credits, they even had a modern day remix of the Heroes in a Half Shell Turtle Power theme song from the 80s cartoon in this movie. And like I said, they took everything that was good about the first one and made it better in this film. They also improved on what was wrong with the first one, such as, before I get to this review, one thing I didn't like about the first one, one thing I didn't like about the first TMNT film, well, I think the modern day TMNT films are much better than the original three from the early 90s. One thing I like better about the TMNT films from the early 90s is that they focused way more on the turtles. They focused way more on the turtles than they did the human characters. Actually, they managed to put equal emphasis on the turtles and the human characters while still focusing more on the turtle characters. One thing I didn't like about the 2014 film was that they focused way more on April O'Neil, Vernon, and various human stuff than they did the turtles. In this film, they improved that by focusing way more on by once again putting equal emphasis on both the human characters and the turtles, but focusing way more on the turtles and actually adding even more story and depth to the turtles. With where in this film, the turtles, they wanted to get out and see the world more, and they interacted more with humans, which I'm about to get to in a minute when I start talking about the story. So and last thing I like how, while this is a kids film, it doesn't talk down to any kids, and I like how this film was vastly different from the other comic book movies coming out this year. First, you have X-Men Apocalypse, which was trying to be an end of the world type team up superhero movie. Then you got Batman v Superman and Captain America, where these superheroes were more dark, more serious, and more grounded in realism, real life social tackling real life social issues. This film was a campy science fiction action comedy type film, vastly different from the other three comic book films I just said. And like I said, along with Civil War, I thought this film, um, I thought this and Civil War were the best films of this year. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this film pretty much since I saw the last one. Before I get into the story and characters, I gotta talk briefly about the last film. To tell you the truth, I gotta go back to 2010 when it was announced that Michael Bay was attached to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. While everybody else was moaning and groaning, I was excited because Michael Bay, he brought the Transformers to life, and I know he can bring the Turtles to life, which is much easier. These are not 10 feet tall robots. These are normal size humanoid turtles. So I know he can bring the turtles to life. My excitement turned to disappointment when I heard the changes he made towards the turtles, making Shredder white, and of course, focusing, announcing that they were going to focus less on the turtles and more on April O'Neil and Vernon. I think it was Casey Jones at the time, but was later changed to Vernon, Vernon, Vernon in the film. I was initially disappointed and even considered joining the little TMNT protest, but I decided I'll give it a chance just in case that it just may turn out good. My disappointment turned to started to turn to excitement when I saw the leaked shots of how the turtles the leaked shots of how the turtles would look. So I was like, okay, well at least the film looks good. Then of course I see. Then of course I hear they got the change. They changed several things back to normal, or at least closer to the source material, such as making Shredder Japanese again. Even though after watching this film, they actually should have kept William Fichtner, Eric Sachs as Shredder. This story would have made much more. It would make the story make much more sense. And if you actually watch this film, you see how he actually could have been Shredder. Um, then of course I mean not that third film. Then of course when I saw third thing that the third thing that started making me excited for this film was when I saw making me want to see this film was when I saw the Shell Shock music video on Nickelodeon performed by rappers Wiz Khalifa, Ty Dolla Sign, and Juicy J. It showed footage of the Turtles fighting Shredder, which was awesome. Then of course the announcement that if this movie had done well, and they planned to bring Casey Jones, Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang in the sequels. That also made me want to see this film. And I know what I said. If this film was at least decent, I would watch the sequel. All because of what they would announce would be in the I would watch all because of what they would announce would be in the sequel if this film had done well. This film right here was better than decent. It was awesome. It was awesome. I had a couple of problems with it, but it was for the most part awesome. And this film I just saw TMNT Out of the Shadows improve just about every problem I had with the film. I love all the TMNT films, but this film right here in my opinion, is the best TMNT movie, and I'm disappointed that it didn't make as much money as it should at the um, at the box office. Or it right now currently has with a budget of 130, it has $143. It's made $143 million with a budget of 130 million dollars at the box office, and it's still in theaters. I hope it makes more money so we can get to part three because I want to see more of I want to see more of this stuff, especially Tyler Perry, who portrays Baxter Stockman in this film, said that if this film had done well, the third film his character will mutate into the Fly. So yeah, I want to see that. So like I said, this film everything was good. Story was even better than the first one, more consistent and a much better narrative flow. Action, action. Um, lots of action. However, I was disappointed that there wasn't much. There wasn't the action sequences between the Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady when they fight each other. They weren't as long as I thought they were gonna be. The Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady didn't encounter each other much. Didn't face off with each other as much as I thought they would when I saw the trailers. But yeah, this film was good. The entire cast did great. Everyone played their characters well. The new guy, Shredder, was just as good as the previous guy. Actually, in some ways, was better. There was nothing wrong with the Shredder from the previous film, but this new guy was cool. Tyler Perry, awesome as Baxter Stockman, and Stephen Amell. He was awesome as Casey Jones. Only other problem I had with the film was while I love his Casey Jones character, I love how it was different from his Oliver Queen Arrow character. One disappointment I had towards Stephen Amell is that he just put on normal street clothes, a hockey mask, and got on the set and said he was Casey Jones. They didn't at all try to make him look like the comic books with the shoulder pads, the knee pads, the elbow pads, and the boots, the hockey shoes. They didn't do none of that in the film, so I was kind of that was kind of disappointing. That was kind of disappointing that his look was just kind of generic. His look was kind of generic, but he was awesome. He was awesome in the film. He was awesome in the film Seamus, and I keep forgetting the actor who portrays Bebop, but Seamus was awesome as Rocksteady. Was awesome as Rocksteady, and Krang in this film was much more. Krang, they brought it to life, and he was much more intimidating here than he was in the cartoons. Cartoons. So he even had a well, he didn't look like a wrestler. It looked like one of those jacks from Tekken. He had a giant robot. He had a giant robot which looks like the jacks from Tekken 3. Um, like I said, awesome film. Now the story. This film picks up where the first one left off. Okay, before I get to the story, the last thing I didn't like about this film was that because of his busy filming schedule, Eric Sachs, William Fichtner, he couldn't return for this film because of his busy filming schedule. But he did say he is signed on for 3 films, and he will return in a third one if the third one is made. So I hope hope this film makes more money at the box office and on DVD sales, so we can get to that third one. Now let's get to the story. This film picks up where the first TMNT film left off. Shredder is in prison. And the Turtles have allowed Vernon to take the credit for defeating Shredder while they hide in the shadows. The film starts off with the Turtles at a basketball game. And Vernon is now, like I said, is hailed a hero for defeating Shredder. Held a hero for defeating Shredder. Michelangelo is disappointed that Vernon doesn't give them props for allowing them to defeat Shredder, for allowing him to take credit for helping him defeat Shredder. But Leonardo reminds Michelangelo that they can't that Vernon is just fulfilling the agreement we all made for each other. They all made it. And how they can't go out and public. Michelangelo accidentally spills some pizza, and one of the basketball players slips on the pizza, and they also shoot spitballs at Vernon. Shoot spitballs at Vernon. Meanwhile, April O'Neil is investigating Baxter Stockman, who she suspects is working with the Foot Clan to break Shredder out of jail. Um, she is right, and they send the Foot after a truck driven by another driver and Casey Jones, who are transporting Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady to prison. To prison. The Foot successfully breaks Shredder out of prison, but Baxter Stockman accidentally opens a portal to another dimension. Accidentally opens a portal, sending Shredder to another dimension, Dimension X, where Shredder meets Krang. Krang makes an agreement for Shredder that he'll give Shredder the equipment he needs and let him rule the Earth with him. If he can find 3 artifacts he left in the past. He gives Shredder a new canister of mutagen, which allows Shredder to create an army of mutants to combat the Turtles. Shredder then finds Bebop and Rocksteady, who have also escaped prison, and enlists their servitude and uses the mutagen to turn them into a rhino and a warhawk. Warhog before he could use it on the other foot members. April O'Neil runs in and steals the last canister of ooze, canister of ooze of mutagen, and she later gets confronted by the Foot Clan. She later gets confronted by the Foot Clan, where she is saved by Casey Jones. Casey Jones, who was then confronted by the Turtles. The Turtles play with Casey Jones. Casey Jones saying that they've been sent by the leader, the order to leader to eat him, something like that. Then Casey Jones, who was kicked off of the case for allowing 3 criminals to escape, decides to go off on his own to bring Bebop and Rocksteady back to justice. He later learns the Turtles. He later learns the Turtles are also looking to bring Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder to justice, and they all form an alliance. And after an unusual meeting, Casey Jones eventually befriends the Turtles and Splinter and joins them on their quest to bring Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady to justice. It is here where Donatello investigates the mutagen and learns that the mutagen not only can it mutate Bebop and Rocksteady into mutant animals, but it could also turn them mutants into humans, and they can live normal lives. But Leonardo accepts his duty as a turtle, and saves the city, and elects to keep it secret from Michelangelo and Raphael. Raphael later finds out from Michelangelo's babbling, and he confronts Leonardo. About it. Donatello, and Casey break into Casey Jones and April break into police headquarters to bring Bebop and Rocksteady, I think, back to justice. To bring them back to justice. To bring them back to justice, and it is here. And Raphael and Michelangelo decide to go out on their own to get that mutagen so they can become human. It is here where all the turtles are caught in the police stations, and the police officers react with fear and hatred. But April O'Neil and Vernon. April O'Neil and Casey take the fall for the Turtles, allowing the Turtles to escape, and and this setback right here has set the Turtles apart. They later decide to travel to Brazil to chase Bebop and Rocksteady and get the artifact before they can get their hands on it. And after a brief scuffle on the plane, they later fall off a waterfall, and then after a talk with Master Splinter, where Master Splinter tells Leonardo that all the 4 their differences is what makes the team unique and what makes the team strong. That they should not all think alike like Leonardo wants them to think, and that Leonardo says that their choices to be human should be their choice. And then Donatello later summarizes that they have to take the fight to Krang, and that they have to take the fight to Krang, and that inside his dimension, only as turtles can they survive. A normal human can't survive in that dimension. Only they have the gear to survive in that dimension. So they elect to remain turtles. Meanwhile, Shredder, after they successfully gotten all 3 artifacts, plans to open the portal, which will allow Krang to enter, not only to complete the Technodrome, but allow him to enter Earth's atmosphere and use the Technodrome to wipe out or enslave everyone on Earth. Baxter Stockman Shredder later turns on Baxter Stockman, telling him that only he will be a guide, and that no one will ever know. Baxter Stockman will be what he always has been, a footnote, and no one would ever know what his name was. Baxter Stockman wants to be a legend, wants to be known and seen. Shredder transports him back to their headquarters in Tokyo, and returns to Dimension X to rule the planet with Krang. To rule the planet with Krang. Krang turns on Shredder, telling him that friendship is for the soft, and family is for the weak. Family is for the weak. Family is for the weak. And Shredder prepares to attack Krang for turning on him, and Krang freezes him and puts him in a trophy case with all of his other defeated foes. Defeated foes, and the Turtles, after Vernon, April O'Neil, after Casey pickpockets the officer's phone. April O'Neil calls Vernon to use his key to the city, to prove prove Casey's and April's and the Turtles' innocence. Then they later set up a meeting between the police officers and the citizens of New York and the Turtles, and it is here where they learn the truth that Shredder is the true enemy, that the Turtles have come to help them, and they get the approval, and they take the fight to Krang in his Technodrome. And after a long, hard fought battle, after a fought battle, Leonardo slashes off the head with his katana, and Donatello impales it in the place where the head was with his stick, destroying Krang, severely injuring Krang's body, and forcing Krang to retreat. And the Turtles are now held as heroes. The Turtles are now held as heroes, but elect to remain as Turtles, and keep their secrecy in the shadows, but are willing to help New York whenever they can. So and the film, is there to once again an awesome remix of Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power, where the Turtles are also given a key to the city. And like I said, that was Ninja Turtles. Like I said, this was an awesome film, action, comedy, humor, story, everything. Like I said, totally improved the very first film. Everyone did a good job. My own disappointments were, like I said, the fight scenes between Bebop and Rocksteady and the Turtles. They didn't fight each other as much. They didn't fight each other as much as I expected. Their fights sequences weren't as long as Shredder. He didn't do much in this film. He didn't really do much in this film. And Eric Sachs, he couldn't return for this film. He couldn't return for this film. So while this film had a lot of action, looking back, it didn't have as much action as the first one did. But I thought this film was much better than the first one. I think this film, like I said, is the best Ninja Turtles film. Of all the Ninja Turtles films, this is the best one, in my opinion. And I hope it makes its money so they can make that part 3. Well, like I said, this was my long review of the Ninja Turtles. All right, I'm done.